Hey everyone, it's Dr. Zarowski, and I did something a little bit crazy. I gave up caffeine for 30 days. I want to share with you the benefits of this, why I did it, and how it impacted my life. So let me explain. So to give you a little bit of historical reference, I started drinking caffeine at the age of 18 when I started college. You're always looking for that extra edge. You have your nose in the books all the time. You're up late studying, and so caffeine becomes your friend. And also what happened is over time, I started drinking more and more of it. So 1 cup of coffee turned into 2, which turned into 3, which turned into some in the morning and some in the afternoon. And then I started to really enjoy a lot of different beverages that were unfortunately caffeinated, which ended up just being too much caffeine for me in general. Now, I want to have a balanced conversation on this topic because we hear all the time that caffeine's bad for you and then also that caffeine's good for you. And most people really don't know where the true answer lies. So let's talk about the benefits of caffeine and then, of course, the downfall of caffeine. Some of the benefits of caffeine include increased energy and also increased alertness. This is a major reason that so many people use it. In fact, it feels really good when I have caffeine in my system when I show up at 8 a.m. to see patients for an 11-hour day. You just are more alert and you feel like you're more prepared. Now, caffeine is also going to help improve your cognitive function, right? So if you have to think on the spot, you're having a conversation and you really want to have that alertness and that full cognitive potential, well, caffeine can be your friend there. Caffeine also helps in physical performance. This is why so many individuals like taking a pre-workout before going into the gym. Now, this is going to be something that I also really like in order to actually start seeing patients. If we're doing some sort of physical work with them, the physical function aspect of caffeine helps me a lot. Now, caffeine also is going to help improve your mood, and it also will help even with pain relief. You can actually use caffeine if you're someone who gets migraines often in order to help combat that pain and discomfort that you're feeling. So caffeine has tons of benefits, okay? But the caffeine can also have a lot of downfalls, okay? Now that we talked about the benefits, it's only fair that we talk about some of the potential issues that you can get from drinking caffeine. First that you're going to notice is going to be sleep disturbances, okay? And insomnia, specifically if you're somebody who's very sensitive to caffeine. And I'll get to this and more in just a moment. Now, you can also have an increased heart rate and increased blood pressure from caffeine. You can have anxiety and jitters. Okay, this is something that beyond a shadow of a doubt, when I drink caffeine, I notice that I have a lot more anxiety and just more jittery throughout the entire day. You can have digestive issues from drinking caffeine. And this was a big one that actually put me on the, I'm going to cut caffeine out of my life for a while and see how I do with it. You can have increase in urination, which leads to dehydration. So you're going to actually start getting rid of a lot of your electrolytes from drinking coffee, which can start to cause muscle spasms and even brain fog just because of the dehydration issue that starts to arise. And you also can basically become dependent on it, which then causes a lot of withdrawal. Now, this leads me to my story. So I gave up caffeine for 30 days, and this is the first time that I went 100% caffeine free in probably about 18 years. Now, it was very interesting to me because first of all, I went through that whole withdrawal issue, okay? And my brain was checked out. And I thought that, just from, what you hear, it would be about 1 to 3 days. I think it lasted probably a solid 1 to 2 weeks for me where I was really struggling with energy issues. But the good news is that over the course of those 1 to 2 weeks, I actually started to see a great improvement in my energy and I started to see that balance back. See, whenever you consume sugar, one of the things you notice is you'll have a lot of energy highs and lows. It's like, this huge high followed next with a crash. Well, the same thing goes with caffeine is that you can have these huge energy highs from drinking the caffeine followed by that crash. Now, for me, that crash was leading to a lot of brain fog and poor brain endurance and brain fatigue, especially in the afternoon time. So what I noticed is that when I completely cut out caffeine, I had this kind of normalized brain energy throughout the entire day without highs and lows, which was very nice. I also noticed that I had less anxiety and less jitters. Okay, this is something that many people struggle with, and they don't know that caffeine or drinking coffee is going to further further this issue. I noticed that my sleep quality greatly improved. And then I think that probably the next big change that I noticed is that my digestion improved. And if you're somebody who is dealing with some sort of digestive issues, caffeine can actually cause irritation to the stomach lining and worsen your problem. So you want to make sure that caffeine isn't some of the root cause of some of the challenges that you're having. Now, here's one of the major issues that you guys are probably unaware of, is that we all process caffeine very differently, and it's really based on your genetics. Now, I am somebody who actually is a very slow processor of caffeine, meaning that whenever I drink caffeine, it starts to build up in my system, and because I'm not processing it fast, it just continues to build up into the point where it starts to kind of make your body go a little bit crazy in a way. And if you're somebody who is able to process caffeine quickly, this isn't an issue for you. And if you're someone who is able to process caffeine quickly, you're probably able to drink a coffee at 6 o'clock at night and have no issues from it. However, I am not that person, and that caffeine was negatively impacting me quite a bit. So what I've really found now that the 30 days was up and I went back to drinking some caffeine is that I found that there's a happy medium, okay? If I was to go and consume about 50 milligrams of caffeine a day, that's completely fine. However, if it's 50 milligrams and then you do that throughout the day 4 more times, it's just too much for me. Now, it's estimated that the average person can handle 400 milligrams of caffeine every single day. I absolutely cannot. I am somebody who is probably gonna need to stay in that 50 milligram mark in order to actually feel my best, not have anxiety, have better quality of sleep, help with keep away digestive issues, and just overall help give me a better quality of life. Now, one of the things I've been doing in order to help with energy that is really probably something you've never heard of is start utilizing something called methylene blue. I've used methylene blue now for about a month and a half, and I found that it offers me an incredible boost in energy. I've noticed that at night, I require less sleep. I wake up with way more energy first thing in the morning, and overall, I have solid energy throughout the entire day. So I have found that caffeine is a pretty poor source of energy for me. I still am drinking like a caffeinated coffee once a day, but I have pulled out any other type of caffeinated beverages throughout the day and then just switched to using other forms of energy like methylene blue. And if you want to learn more about methylene blue, it's actually something I have right here with me. If you want to learn more about methylene blue, I'll put a link in the description below. It's something that's brand new, and it's so interesting. I'm using it clinically and finding that many people are responding incredibly well to it. Individuals who have had energy issues forever and sleep issues forever, it's radically changed my sleep, it's radically changed my energy, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it continues to help so many people around me. And it may just be something that helps you too. So read up on it and figure out if it would be an answer for you. Now, when we look back at caffeine, we have to realize it's something we should probably limit to a much greater extent. In modern times, individuals are drinking 300 milligrams of energy drinks combined with coffees and so much more. I think that overall our society is highly caffeinated and is not good for our health, but I do think that having caffeine in moderation, especially caffeine based on what your body is able to tolerate, is going to be very important. Now, if you want to know if you are a slow caffeine metabolizer, you could do a DNA test, and it's actually genes that are specifically related to telling you whether or not you're able to metabolize caffeine well, or if it just builds up in your system. That's how I was able to know that I'm a slow caffeine metabolizer, and that it's probably not going to be good for me to drink too much of it. With all the symptoms that I was facing from drinking too much caffeine and how it was interacting with my brain, I now know that not only does my DNA prove this, but just the symptoms associated with drinking the caffeine also proves it's not good for me when drank in excess. So I hope this gives you some insight as to how you can improve your health. And just remember, caffeine isn't good, it's not bad, it's just a matter of figuring out what is right for you. I'm Dr. Nick Zarowski. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this, I think you'll like this video over here next.